Right now, above your house, above your street, above every city on Earth, there's water. Not a little. An astonishing amount of it. Invisible, completely silent. And yet, almost nobody ever thinks about collecting it. Instead, we drill wells, we build pipelines, we pump rivers uphill, and we spend thousands of dollars moving water from one place to another. Even though, under the right conditions, the atmosphere is already carrying it for us. That doesn't sound possible. But here's the strange part. People have been harvesting water directly from the air for centuries. No electricity, no pumps, no complicated machines. And today, you can build one yourself for about $12. So why have almost none of us ever heard about it? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why water can literally appear out of thin air, why ancient civilizations relied on this principle long before modern plumbing existed, why today's commercial systems often cost hundreds or even thousands of dollars, and how you can build your own passive atmospheric water collector in a single afternoon. But before we build anything, you need to understand one simple fact. You've already watched this process happen hundreds of times. You just didn't realize what you were looking at. Think about a cold glass on a hot summer day. Only a few minutes later, tiny droplets begin to appear, not inside the glass, on the outside. So where did that water come from? Or picture an early morning walk. Every blade of grass is covered with dew. It didn't rain overnight. So why is everything wet? Or think about your bathroom mirror after a hot shower. One moment, it's perfectly clear. The next, you can barely see your reflection. You've seen all of these things your entire life, and every one of them follows exactly the same rule. Warm air can hold water vapor, but only up to a certain limit. As the air cools, it eventually reaches what's called the dew point, and that's where everything changes. The air can no longer hold all that invisible moisture, so the water separates out. First, as microscopic droplets. Then, the droplets merge together. They grow larger, heavier, until gravity finally takes over. That's it. No mystery, no hidden technology. Just physics, doing exactly what physics has always done. And here's the fascinating part. A fog collector doesn't create water. It simply gives the atmosphere a place to let go of it. Now think about this. Long before weather forecasts, long before plastic pipes, long before electric pumps, people still had to survive in dry landscapes. They couldn't order bottled water. They couldn't drill a deep well whenever they wanted, so they watched nature. They noticed that certain rocks stayed wet longer than others. Some hills collected fog almost every morning. Certain plants were covered with tiny droplets before sunrise. Those observations slowly became knowledge. Along the Pacific coast of South America, communities learned to harvest water from dense coastal fog. In parts of North Africa, mountain villages developed simple systems that captured moisture from the air. Different places, different cultures. Exactly the same idea. Nature was already producing fresh water every single night. Someone simply had to collect it. And here's where the story becomes even more interesting. Despite everything we've learned over the last century, most people still don't realize that the atmosphere is one of the largest freshwater reservoirs on Earth. Not hidden underground, not locked inside glaciers, floating above us. Every hour, every day, invisible. Now here's the question that kept bothering me. If this principle is so simple, why don't we see these collectors everywhere? At first, I expected some forgotten scientific breakthrough, maybe a secret material, maybe an invention that had simply been ignored. But the real answer turned out to be much simpler. Passive systems are surprisingly difficult to build a business around. Think about it. You build a fog collector once, you place it outside, and if it's built properly, it quietly keeps working. No electricity, no moving parts, almost no maintenance. Now compare that with a modern atmospheric water generator. It needs electricity, filters, replacement parts, regular maintenance, and eventually, a replacement machine. That doesn't make modern systems bad, far from it. They can produce much larger amounts of water under the right conditions, but they solve a different problem. One depends on technology, the other depends almost entirely on physics. And physics never sends you a monthly bill. So, let's build one. You'll need surprisingly little. 4 PVC pipes, a piece of fine mesh, or shade cloth, a handful of zip ties, a small rain gutter, or another narrow collection channel. And finally, a bucket. That's it. Most people can build the entire system for somewhere between $10 and $15, sometimes even less if you already have the materials. Start by building a simple rectangular frame. It doesn't have to look perfect. Nature doesn't care. It just needs to stay rigid. Next, stretch the mesh tightly across the frame. And here's where many people make their very first mistake. Loose fabric seems harmless. It isn't. Instead of guiding the droplets downward, it creates tiny pockets where water gets trapped. Some of those droplets evaporate before they ever reach the bottom. A tight surface lets gravity do the work, and those tiny improvements add up surprisingly quickly. Now here's the part almost nobody mentions. Don't place the collector perfectly upright. That sounds logical, but it usually isn't the most efficient position. Instead, lean it back slightly, around 15 to 30 degrees. Why? Because gravity suddenly becomes your partner. The droplets no longer need to search for a path. They naturally roll downward, straight into the collection channel. One small adjustment, a completely different result. There's another detail that's easy to miss. Raise the frame slightly above the ground, just a little. That allows air to flow across both sides of the mesh. More airflow means more humid air touching the surface, more opportunities for condensation. It sounds almost too simple, but physics often works exactly like that. Small improvements, repeated thousands of times, become significant. Now imagine you've built everything perfectly and still collect almost no water. That's entirely possible. Because the collector itself isn't the most important part, its location is. Always face the mesh toward the prevailing wind. Moving air constantly replaces the air touching the surface. Without airflow, the entire process slows down. If you live near the coast, on a hillside, or anywhere that regularly experiences fog or heavy morning dew, you'll usually see the best results. And here's one final trick. Keep the collector out of direct morning sunlight whenever possible. As soon as the mesh begins to warm up, the tiny droplets you've worked so hard to collect can disappear straight back into the atmosphere. The water never vanished. It simply changed its state again. And once you understand that, you stop seeing the air as empty space. You begin seeing it as an invisible river flowing all around you. Now, to give you the complete picture, this system is not magic, and it isn't a replacement for a municipal water supply. The laws of physics don't negotiate. If the air is extremely dry, there simply isn't much water available to collect. That's why location matters so much. Coastal regions, mountain slopes, places with frequent fog, or areas where heavy morning dew forms on a regular basis, those are where these collectors perform best. And remember, a larger surface collects more water. A smaller one collects less. The principle never changes. Only the scale does. One question comes up almost every time this topic is discussed. Can you actually drink the water? The answer is usually yes, unlike groundwater, or water traveling through old pipes. This water has never passed through soil. It hasn't picked up pesticides from farmland. It hasn't flowed through aging plumbing. It came directly from moisture already suspended in the atmosphere. However, the water can collect dust, pollen, or tiny particles from the mesh itself. So if you plan to drink it regularly, filtering it first is always the smarter choice. Not because the principle is unsafe, but because clean collection is just as important as clean water. If you'd like to build a simple natural water filter, I've covered that in another video. I think the most fascinating part of this story isn't the water. It's what the water reminds us of. For thousands of years, people survived by paying attention. They watched the wind, the morning fog, the rocks, the plants. They noticed patterns, and those patterns became knowledge. Then something changed. Modern technology solved many of our problems. Turn a faucet, and water appears. Press a switch, and a machine does the work. Convenience is a remarkable achievement, but it also made many old skills quietly disappear. Not because they stopped working, because we stopped needing them. Yet the atmosphere never changed. It still carries water, every single day. The wind still moves, the dew still forms, the physics still work, exactly as they always have. Maybe forgotten knowledge isn't really forgotten. Maybe it's simply waiting for someone curious enough to notice it again.